guys! How are you doing today? I hope you're doing okay. I'm gonna walk you through my drawing evolution. We're gonna start with this sketchbook right here that goes from 2012-ish to 2014, and this other sketchbook, proper sketchbook, that goes from 2014 to 2016. In these two sketchbooks, you will be able to see how I started getting more into drawing with manga and anime, and how I eventually got more into realism and started experimenting more with other styles. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Okay guys, so this is the first sketchbook I'm gonna show you, and this is my anime and manga era, meaning this was the time when I only wanted to draw manga and anime. I would try different things, like I'm showing here. For example, I would try to draw some clothes and things like that, but I would always go back to anime and manga. Specifically, the anime and manga I really liked, like Inuyasha. Well, here the failed Princess Ariel attempt. But yeah, I would always go back to the anime and manga that I really liked. Here's the Matsukamoto from School Rumble, Kagome of course. You're gonna see a lot of Inuyasha here. So the problem I had in this time period was that I was so obsessed with getting the anime and manga style right that I completely neglected the proportions, the anatomy and all of that. And I never finished anything. Like most of these drawings aren't finished. I was very focused on anime and manga. I used to love this show too, which I was so focused on that I neglected proportions. The problem with doing that is, if you really want your drawings to look great and for it to be more effortless, because whenever I made a drawing look really great, it was because I spent a lot of time erasing and erasing and erasing. It was a very tiring process. I didn't realize that what I needed was to sketch more and sketch from real life. Copy the body, essentially. Study the human body, the human posture, study different things from real life. That's the basis of anime and manga if you think about it, but at the time I thought manga was like this entity that I wanted to master. I wanted to master it so badly that I just said, screw you, anatomy, I don't want to have anything to do with you. I just kept on drawing Inuyasha, Doremi, and other characters that I liked, as you can see in these pages. There are some drawings that are quite great, like this one for example, but as I mentioned before, to really get a drawing right, I had to erase so many times, so my drawings look very stiff. The reason that happens is because my hand, I couldn't draw freely on the paper. I had to concentrate really hard to get it just right. And that's not really how I want to draw, you know. I wanna be able to just let my hand slide on the paper and do whatever it wants. But for your drawing technique to get to that level, you need a level of practice and a level of understanding of proportions and anatomy that I didn't have at that time, and I wasn't interested in having, because I just wanted my manga and my anime. That was pretty much the situation back then, and it continued quite a long time. I will show you some drawings that they date back from the time when I really started getting more serious about developing my style and understanding art fundamentals. But this entire sketchbook, well, it's actually a notebook, but let's say it's a sketchbook for the sake of this video. This entire sketchbook is just me trying to draw anime and manga and struggling so much. I'll tell you a funny story about my art. I actually started drawing, I remember specifically Doraemon, and I really liked that anime growing up, and I would write the characters' names on top of their heads, and it was all every single character name was misspelled because I had no idea how to spell them. For example, I would write Shizuka with a C instead of a K, sorry. Another thing I used to do a lot was try to imitate Disney, the style from Disney, which is another style I really like. I mean, if I could choose my own style, I think it would be a mixture of Rumiko Takahashi's style and Disney style. Have no idea how that would look like, but in my head I have this kind of style waiting for me at the other end of endless hours of practice. I've always struggled with drawing without reference, because without reference it's like I feel overwhelmed by the sheer amount of possibility that opens before me on that blank page. Okay, so now we move on to the part of my life in which I started taking art more seriously. As you can see in the first sketch there of hands, I start like experimenting a bit more with realism and other art styles like this one you see here, instead of just drawing anime all the time. Of course there's anime too, because I love it and I always draw it no matter what, but you'll see that I start experimenting more with other styles. And of course there's Inuyasha there too. Inuyasha has to be in all of my sketchbooks. See, that picture there is when I really started getting into realism. What I would do is pick pictures that I had around the house and I would copy them. By doing that, I really got a better understanding of how faces worked, how proportions and anatomy worked, and all of that. But what I also did was draw anime, but taking it to the next level. I would say this is when I started feeling more proud about my anime drawings. I also would draw Demi Lovato a lot because I was a huge fan of her during this time. It's one of the first realistic drawings that I really got right. I really got the proportions right and everything, but that's because I had been practicing a lot before doing that. Drew that Demi Lovato picture you just saw. I had to practice a lot to get there. Some of those drawings are not here in this sketchbook. I also practiced a lot with eyes and different parts of the face. Eyes are always my favorite thing to draw. I always just love the process of drawing the eyelashes and making all the tiny details inside the eye to make it more realistic and to make it have more emotion. That I love. I always have been more into drawing girls. That's my comfort zone drawing, so I don't really draw boys that much. During this time I also experimented more with coloring, like in this drawing from Tomoko from Watamote. Here's another picture. This is a picture of me when I was little drawing. This is another picture. I also really like drawing hair flowing in the wind. This is another picture of me when I was a baby, but well, the face looks a little weird. More eyes, because as I said, I really love drawing eyes. I also did some illustrations, like this one. I copied this from the internet but made my own version. More Inuyasha, of course, but focusing more on getting the anatomy right and taking it more seriously. I have a thing for drawing girls crying. I'm a very sensitive person and I really love capturing emotions in characters. I love drawing characters crying, laughing, just expressing emotion. But yeah, some of the drawings in this sketchbook are from my imagination, like one random kagome just sitting there. I really love this scene. This is from the volume 48 of the manga. Such a sad chapter, but very beautiful. Some more anatomy there. More anatomy. The proportions are really hard.